What is up, YouTube? What is up, Giants fans? It is your boy Jay Dobbs, and we are back at it with another New York Giants video. Back at it with another New York Giants banger. And if this is your first time watching, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure that subscribe button if you love Giants football. Now let's get right into this one. In this video, I wanted to talk about the biggest needs for the New York Giants heading into this free agency and this upcoming draft. Now, the Giants did overachieve. Brian Daboll and others took this roster, which we were seeing as one of the not most talented rosters all of the league, and which is still not one of the most talented rosters in the league, to the playoffs, to the second round, to the divisional round of the playoffs, where we would end up losing to the Philadelphia Eagles, which we saw how big of that talent gap it was in that game. They got blown off the field 38-7, and Jay O'Shane came out and said himself that they need to close that talent gap with them, Dallas and Philly, you know. And in this video, I want to talk about some of the biggest needs heading into this offseason. Let's hop into it. Linebacker. The linebacker position for the New York Giants was fully on display as being the worst position group on our defense. Jalen Smith, we threw out Gerard Davis late in the season. We drafted Micah McFadden from Indiana, and we had drafted Darian Beavers from Cincinnati, who ended up getting hurt during training camp, or not training camp, but during the preseason. So that position throughout the whole season was a weak spot. It was, and the New York Giants for a long time has never went out and drafted a linebacker in the first round. I don't remember the last time it did. I think it was a stat that came out said they haven't done it since Harry Carson or Carl Banks, and we know how long ago that was. So linebacker is a position where we don't have a pass coverage linebacker, so that's why we struggle with tight ends. And in the run game, which our run game was awful. It was one of the worst run games in the league. If you watch the games, they were looking at yards per carry. The Giants were the worst in the NFL. Linebacker is the reason because of that. And when you have guys like Dexter Lawrence, you have guys like Leonard Williams, those guys are great run defenders. But if you don't have nobody in that linebacker position that can just run up, fill in gaps, and make things happen in the backfield, it's a hole in your defense. And we have over the years just took guys from the practice squad, took guys that was on the free agent market late in the season and just throwing them out there, like Jalen Smith, like Gerard Davis. We did the same thing this season. And this offseason is the year where you go out and you go get one. I don't care if it's from free agency. A lot of people are talking about Tremaine Edmonds of the Buffalo Bills as a possible signing for the New York Giants, having that I guess you could say having that relationship, having that, continuity with Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen over there in Buffalo. Tremaine Edmonds is a good linebacker. He's a very good linebacker, very good in the run department, and he improved in the coverage department this past season. So if the New York Giants were to go out there and go look at a linebacker in free agency, Tremaine Edmonds is a guy that I think we both can agree on that we would like to see the New York Giants, take a shot on in this free agency period. Next, cornerback. Cornerback 2, most importantly, is a hole on this Giants defense. Now, we were able to get some, good production from Fabian Moreau. We brought him in, I think third, fourth game after Aaron Robinson had got hurt. And he filled in that role, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't nothing amazing, but for where we got him off of the street, he was definitely a gem for the New York Giants defense. And he was a great player for us this season. For what we need him to do, he filled in that role, but we need to fill in that position. And in this draft, in this free agency, there are some guys that we can bring in to fill in that CB2 role. I love Cordell Flott. I love Aaron Robinson. Those two guys are very young players that I think can possibly become future cornerbacks, future boundary cornerbacks for the New York Giants. Cordell Flott had some moments where he looked really good. Aaron Robinson, before he got, put out of the season for the whole season early on, was actually doing pretty good. He looked scary in preseason, but for the games that he played, he looked good. But for right now, the Giants do need a solidified cornerback too, and I think they can go out there and get that in this free agency period. There's a lot of cornerbacks in this free agency period this offseason. You got Sean Murphy-Bunting from Tampa. You got Jamel Dean from Tampa. You got Marcus Peters from the Baltimore Ravens, who I think is a guy the New York Giants could possibly actually go out and sign if they are going to get Wink Martindale back as the defensive coordinator. has a familiarity in the defense with Wink Martindale over there in Baltimore, and I would love him to fill in that CB2 role. He's a veteran, so guys like Cordell Flott and Aaron Robinson can learn behind him. But with the cornerback position, I think CB1 is good for the New York Giants. Adoree Jackson showed that he can be a cornerback 1 in the NFL. He literally shut down Justin Jefferson during the wild card round, and without him, he is our defense. He makes our defense, watchable. He makes our defense able to go out there and make some plays from here and there. So Adoree Jackson at CB1 is good. This offseason, the New York Giants need to go out there and find themselves a CB2. But the next need is the interior offensive line. Let's hop to the offense. Two positional defense. Let's hop into the offense. The Giants need a interior offensive line. Center is a need. Left guard is a need. Right guard is a need, but I feel like Mark Glowinski will be the starter for next season because he is under contract. But they have some free agents. They have some free agents on this offensive line. You got Nick Gates, who's a free agent. I would like to see him back. John Feliciano is also a free agent, but they need to upgrade that position. That interior offensive line really let the Giants down in big moments this season. And, even the right tackle spot with Evan Neal, you could say needed to upgrade, but that's Evan Neal. Evan Neal needs to just have a bounce back season, have a better sophomore season after a poor rookie season. But with the interior offensive line of the New York Giants, they need help. I like Ben Bredeson, but I don't think he is a guy you want to start each and every game throughout the season. The Giants had that rotating door with Nick Gates and Ben Bredeson for majority of this season. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that next season. I don't. I want to have solidified guards that we, know for a fact is going to go out there. Shane Lemieux, lost cause. I could literally see him getting cut this season. I could see him getting cut. I could see him being a cap casualty because when he's been on the field, which hasn't been a lot, hasn't been good. And even when he's been off the field, which has been more than he has been on the field, that's automatically a problem. You can't be a bad player that's always hurt. That just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for the New York Giants. It won't work for the New York Giants. So when you're looking at center, they need to go out there. Free agency, it's not really that rich of interior offensive linemen. It really isn't, but in the draft is where I can see the New York Giants going out and getting a guy. Luke Weichler from Ohio State. He is a good center. The Giants got to go out and look at some of these interior offensive linemen in the draft. You got the center from Michigan, who name, runs away from me right now. But I think the draft is where the New York Giants are going to really have to fill in that interior offensive line spot. I could definitely see them go out there and, throw a little contract to somebody on the free agency market. But I think the New York Giants are going to go out in the draft and find their interior offensive line that can end up starting next season. But here is the need that I'm really excited about, and I think the New York Giants will go out and fill in this need for sure this offseason, and that is wide receiver. That is wide receiver. Now, a lot of Giants fans have already put their names in a hat for who they would like to see the Giants go out there and possibly acquire via trade or draft this offseason. Let's break them down. T. Higgins from the Cincinnati Bengals. I've been hearing a lot of Giants fans talk about as a possible trade candidate. Over there in Cincinnati, a lot of people saying that they aren't going to be able to afford to keep T. Higgins. When you got contracts like Joe Burrow coming up, contracts like Jamar Chase coming up, they already are not on the same, page contract-wise with Jesse Bates. So a lot of people are saying that the Giants could possibly go out there and get T. Higgins. I like T. Higgins. I think T. Higgins can be a #1 wide receiver for an NFL team. I just don't know if the Cincinnati Bengals would make that trade. Now, is it possible? Of course. We've seen things happen when it comes to the cap room and cap space of teams getting away with good players because of that. T. Higgins is great. So if the Giants were to go out there, see what they can do and get T. Higgins, I would be down for that. Brandon Ayuk from the San Francisco 49ers, man. He's a guy that improves each and every season. Each and every season he improves, and this season he showed you that he could possibly be a #1 wide receiver. Now, I think Brandon Ayuk is better fitted right now as a wide receiver too. I don't know if I trust him a lot being a wide receiver run for us right now, but Brandon Ayuk is a very great player. He's young, and he goes into that, that realm of where San Francisco might not be able to afford to keep him. They might not be able to afford to offer him a big contract. So could they end up trading him early? I feel like if that's true, the New York Giants will for sure be in the runnings for Brandon Ayuk. He's young, he is very talented, and I feel like he's just scratching the surface and getting better and better each and every season. Next, DeAndre Hopkins of the Arizona Cardinals. He's great. he's good. He's been a very good wide receiver ever since he's walked into the league. And I wouldn't mind DeAndre Hopkins at all. You know, he's a number one wide receiver. He has reliable hands. And, you know, is he up there in age? He's about 30 years old, 31 years old, but he is still in his prime. He is still able to go out there and be effective. He didn't have the best numbers this season, was suspended, and, you know, played some games without Kyler Murray. So that's the most reason why he wasn't that effective numbers-wise. But I would not mind the New York Giants going out there and making a trade for DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think it would cost a first-round draft pick also to get DeAndre Hopkins with his age, with his contract. So I could see the Giants going out there and making a trade for DeAndre Hopkins. And when you're talking about the trade rumors, the Giants have been a name that has been mentioned with DeAndre Hopkins. But another guy, my guy, who I actually made a video on during the season, near the trade deadline for the New York Giants, and that is DJ Moore of the Carolina Panthers. Y'all know I'm a DJ Moore guy, man. I love DJ Moore, and I don't know if the Panthers would make that trade. We're looking at this cap hit. We're looking at the money and the dead money they would end up acquiring from trading DJ Moore, but they are a rebuilding team. And I think the New York Giants, where they have with that pick, the 25th overall pick, I feel like that is a pick where I am willing to give up to go out and get a number one wide receiver. And DJ Moore is a number one wide receiver. He has not played with great quarterbacks throughout his whole career, but has still been able to put up good numbers. And DJ Moore is a guy to me that is just scratching the surface. He's young. He is on a big contract. And I don't know if the Carolina Panthers would make that move, but if DJ Moore is on the trade block, if he is a guy that the Carolina Panthers are looking to move this offseason, the New York Giants must take a look at him, man. We're looking at the draft with the wide receivers. It's a lot of great ones. It's a lot of them. Quentin Johnson from TCU, I like. Jordan Addison from USC is a guy who I also like. Jackson Smith-Njigba from Ohio State, wide receiver U, is a guy that I like. And there's other guys, Rashee Rice, that a lot of Giants fans are, letting a lot of other Giants fans know that these are guys that the Giants could take in the first, second round. Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee. The draft is full of wide receivers. I do expect the Giants to use either their first or second round draft pick on a wide receiver. You could bank on it, but these are just some of the positions. Just some of them, because there are other positions where we like edge depth. We need some more depth. I could see us going out there and looking at another tight end to complement with Daniel Bellinger. But these are just some of the positions that the biggest positions of need for the New York Giants heading into this offseason. Leave down below some guys that you wouldn't mind the Giants trading for or possibly drafting or signing in free agency to upgrade and help this team. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been your boy Jay Dimes, and I am out. You already know the vibes. Go Giants. Peace.